Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about what it means to co-lead a major project with a colleague. So this actually happened to a client of mine, and I wanted to talk about the framework we developed in order for that person to feel like they were going to be successful. There were 3 areas that we decided to touch on in terms of approach, and I thought maybe I should share this with the rest of you to make sure that you also feel like you can be successful if you've been asked to co-lead. Typically, when we're asked to lead a project, we're given full authority to make the decisions, to make sure that the project gets done on time, to coordinate with the people on the team who are delivering on the expectations, and it feels good. We're in charge. And usually we're given this responsibility because our supervisor wants us to demonstrate how we can lead. So if there's a really big project, and instead of being told, here's where you can lead, here's where I want to see you exhibiting those leadership skills, they're told you instead, I think you should co-lead with your colleague Bob over here. Now, there's some baggage. First, we want to make sure we understand, do you like Bob? Is this a good person that you want to work with? So let's just say, for argument's sake today, that, yeah, this is a pretty good person. You've worked with this person before. It is a good colleague. And now you're just trying to figure out how you're going to lead a project together and what you need to do in order to make that successful. Real quick, if you like this content and you like this video, please feel free to click the like button. And if you want to continue to find out more information about leadership development and how to be an effective manager, click the follow button and click the notification bell. I'd appreciate it. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, make the outreach. Why am I saying that? Because the person that I spoke with today said, do you think that I should reach out to that person to figure out how we're going to co-lead, or should I just wait for him to reach out to me? And my first response was, and I had an answer, and I said, do not wait for that person to reach out to you. You want to be the person who initiates the conversation. You want to be the person who says, I'm excited. I just found out about this project. I found out we're co-leading together, and I've been given the go-ahead to do outreach. Therefore, how about if the two of us sit down and talk about what we expect from this project? Why is that important? When you do the outreach, you get to take charge. You're more likely to be the person who sets the expectations and sets the tone for how the project is going to work. So you may even have gotten in front of that person maybe 30 minutes before they were going to reach out to you, but that's totally fine as long as you're the person who is able to do the outreach first. Now, that other person could reach out to you first, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up if you're not able to do the outreach first. But if there's confusion and you're not sure who's going to reach out first, make sure that you're the person who does. If you're wondering, be the person who makes the first contact, because you can set the agenda for the initial phone call. You can tell them, these are my questions, or where I wonder where we're going to establish what we're doing. What's the objective for the project? How long is it going to take? The person that I talked to today, it's going to be a 12-month project. And they have very specific measurable results they're trying to achieve. If you've been given a very specific project with a specific timeline and specific outcomes, you now are armed with knowing exactly what you need to work on. In that case, doing the initial outreach means you get to suggest how you're going to work together, and you get to create the agenda for the very first call with the two of you for setting parameters. And that takes me to number 2, define roles and responsibilities. How are you going to show up? Which areas are most important for you to accomplish? Now, when I talked to my client, I asked him, what are you trying to accomplish with this project? You need to understand from your point of view and from your colleague's point of view, what would either one of you consider as a win? Now, for my colleague, he's not working on getting a promotion. He's working on visibility. And that means that for him, measurable results are going to include him doing the outreach, him talking to stakeholders, and him working on his soft skills, which is communication, collaboration, establishing trust. For the other person, that person might be interested in a promotion. So if you figure out what both of you want out of that project, you'll be able to identify roles and responsibilities that can be respectful and help both of you develop your strengths. You're going to figure out what a win would look like in this role on this project, and then you're going to build backward by saying, I'd like these responsibilities in order to achieve these things. And for your colleague, they're going to also tell you, this is what I'm trying to achieve by working or co-leading on this project, and here are the roles and responsibilities that I'd like to focus on. And if you're lucky, both of you are focusing in two different areas. At the same time, you could both want to be leaders and figure out exactly how you're going to lead, splitting up roles and responsibilities and making sure that you have clear identification of what that person is supposed to focus on and who that person is supposed to work with versus what you're supposed to focus on and who you're supposed to work with is going to help you be successful together. And that takes me to number 3, establishing what your wins are going to look like. Now, you have an ultimate goal for why you want to be on this project, and so does your colleague. You need to be able to track wins so that at the end of this project, you both feel like you have been successful in this role. For example, the person that I've been working with today told me they came up with some metrics and said, we're supposed to save $28 million over the span of 12 months. And I'm not sure, we're going to use a formula or we're going to use some sort of approach. Now he's learning a new framework. And so for him, we talked about implementing this framework that he's been doing in his training and development program and saying, would that framework work? When we want to figure out how we're going to measure wins, is it going to be saving $32 million instead of $28 million in that same time frame? Is the framework going to help you come in under the target, the timeline, so $28 million in 9 months? Or are you trying to figure out efficiencies? So are more people going to learn about this program, and how is it going to impact the bigger functionality of the business? It might be ambitious, in which case you do want to come in on target and you want to use this framework so that you come in on target. Now, when that happens, you want to measure your wins. At the 3-month mark, where do we want to be? At the 6-month mark, where do we want to be? At the 9-month mark, where do we want to be? And you want to build those into your plan, how you're going to execute on this project. And each of you should be able to measure exactly what a win would look like for both of your career development. So for you, that would be building trusted relationships with the particular stakeholders that you've identified as people you need to know to build your presence in the organization. And for your colleague, it could very well mean making sure they give status updates and communicate results to the leadership team because they want visibility to get their promotion, right? So you first want to split out the responsibilities, and then second, you do want to be able to say, how are we going to measure successes so that we both come out looking good? Now, when we take all 3 of those elements together, 1, you drove the initial conversation and set expectations. 2, you and your colleague figured out roles and responsibilities, meaning which areas are we going to focus on so that we're building the skills we need for whatever we're trying to achieve in our careers. And then 3, what are the wins going to look like? How are we going to use these measurable results to make sure that our wins come across as strong and relevant? All right, so in the end, you should have a great foundation for how the project is going to be executed in a successful way. And if you've established the foundation and the foundational elements of the project appropriately at the very beginning, there's less likely to be stepping on each other's toes, and there's less likely to be fighting over who gets to be in charge. Making sure you establish clear boundaries around who's running which part of the project and who's leading in each specific area is going to help you be successful, and it's going to help your colleague be successful as well. And again, this is if you're working with a good person, a person who is equally excited to show up and excited to get the work done and excited to also show growth, evolution, and development of skills. All right, so that's it for this video on how to co-lead a project with a colleague. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Please feel free to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.